Hi. I'm a little bit embarrassed and nervous about posting this video on YouTube, but I think that it's important that I share my experience with the world. I literally have had a history with snoring, dating back as long as I could remember. It's always been a huge issue in my life since I was a kid that has been a burden not only for me, but for those that I love. Whether it is waking others around me or it's even myself, waking up myself because I can hear myself snoring. Now, of course, my loved ones, they are going to try to make me feel better and tell me that it's not a big problem and not to worry about it so much and that it didn't really bother them while they're asleep. But as I grew older, I couldn't help but feel like it was. I mean, really, come on. Constantly having to nudge someone in the middle of the night and telling them to turn over because they're snoring too loud has to bother you while you're trying to sleep. It would be annoying, right? Anyway, my most worst moment with my snoring issue came a few months ago when me and my boyfriend Chris, we went to visit his parents in Phoenix, and it was going to be the very first time that we would be meeting each other, his parents. So naturally, I wanted to make a very good impression. And I did, okay? Everything went great, it went well, and we hit it off as well as I could hope and imagine. Okay, I spoke too soon because I will never ever forget the discussion that we had over breakfast on the morning of our last day visiting. Never will I forget the look on his father's face when he looked up from his plate and he asked, "My gosh, who was that snoring last night? Chris, was that you? Have you always snored like that?" Oh, now, Chris, being the man that he is, he took all the blame for me. He saved me from the embarrassment of his folks knowing that I was the one that was snoring like a bear. But you can't even begin to imagine the shock and embarrassment I was feeling on the inside from the fact that they could hear me snoring all the way on the other side of the house. It was at this exact moment that I made up in my head that I had to address my snoring problem. I had to find a solution. So when we got home from visiting, I started doing some research online about different natural remedies that help relieve snoring. And so I started trying a lot of different things, from different kinds of anti-snoring foods like tea and fish. I tried all kinds of snoring pillows that you can even imagine, and I mean just countless other things that are supposed to relieve snoring. I even tried doing yoga, and guess what? None of it worked. To relieve my snoring, none of these things worked in any kind of way. Anyway, one day, I was doing some research online and I came across some reviews and testimonials about using different mouthpieces to relieve the snoring. And I saw one that had a lot of really good positive reviews. But I remember thinking to myself, there is no possible way a simple mouthpiece could relieve snoring and most importantly be comfortable in my mouth while I'm trying to sleep. I mean, how would I even be able to keep them from falling out of my mouth while I'm sleeping? Anyways, this particular mouthpiece, it had a stellar review so much that I thought, it had to be fake. This can't be real. I continued to look online at different places like forums and discussion groups to try and get a better opinion on it. And most places, they had a lot of positive things to say about the effects that this mouthpiece had in reducing snoring drastically. So I figured I would go ahead, give it a try. I mean, what else did I have to lose? I had tried just about everything natural with no results, and I could always just, return the mouthpiece if it didn't work from within 30 days. So I made the purchase on their website, and then I waited a few days because they had to mail it to you, and about 3 to 4 days it finally arrived. And so I opened up the package, I removed the mouthpiece, and began reading the instructions about how to custom fit it to my mouth, and then I began to follow them. I have to say, upon first impression, I really did not believe that this would help relieve my snoring, okay? It was, I just felt weird. I was looking at it as I was boiling it over the hot water over the stove, and it had me thinking that this was going to be an ultimate fail and that I would definitely be returning this thing for a refund. I didn't see how this was going to work. But anyway, I continued following the instructions and finally got ready to use it while I was sleeping. And I gave it a try for the first time that night as I slept, and I didn't know what to expect. When I woke up the next morning, my natural reaction was to ask my boyfriend, Chris, did you notice anything different about my snoring? And I was shocked when he told me that my snoring was vastly reduced and had become much more tolerable. Now, that's great, and I'm not going to lie and say that this has completely gotten rid of any snoring, but this has made my snoring much more bearable for my boyfriend, and when we sleep in the same room now, it's so much easier for him. You know, it's helped more than anything else that I've ever tried. He no longer has to go sleep on the couch in the living room when my snoring becomes too loud for him to bear when he's sleeping, and it has also improved my own quality of sleep, and because I don't toss and turn all the time, and like I used to, and I don't wake myself up snoring so loudly like I did like when I was snoring like a bear. And I do have to admit, though, I absolutely hate having to sleep with this thing in my mouth, but I'm also so happy that I found it at the same time because it has improved my life in many ways, from waking up feeling so refreshed and most of all not disturbing and waking up my boyfriend when he's trying to sleep. So if you are someone who is looking for an all-natural way like me to help relieve their severe snoring issues, then I definitely encourage you to check this out and see if it's right for you. I've included a link to the website down below the video if you want more information about it. I just had to share my story with the world. Thanks for listening, and I hope this helps just as much as it has helped me. Thanks. Bye.